Hey guys, Amanda Trombley here, your crazy coach lady, and today we are talking all about worth. There is absolutely no reason in the world to question our own self-worth, and yet it's something that so many of us are inevitably plagued with. I'm a beautiful, charismatic, full of life lady. I'm smart, talented, and gifted. I have skills. I'm a good mom. I'm athletic. I'm fun. I'm smart. I remember when I was first told to write a sober woman's list, or sober woman quality list, and my sponsor at the time could not believe how many things came to mind instantly. I was to come up with 20 positive qualities that made me who I was, and for me, they spotted out pretty quickly. She was impressed. I was not. She asked me to list out positive qualities of myself. She didn't ask me if I believed in them, or if I believed what I was saying, or if these things even actually mattered to me. The truth was, for me, I could list positive traits all day long about myself. That wasn't hard at all. The reality was that from my curly hair to my small feet to my capacity for learning and my sense of humor, I have a lot of positive qualities. I'm not ashamed or blind to say that I don't. I know that I do. But I knew that being able to quickly list good things about myself didn't stop me from feeling the deep shame, disgust, and hate that I had for myself anyways. Just because in the world standards I was considered smart or kind didn't mean that I felt able or well. Just because to your standard I was considered beautiful didn't mean I felt it inside at the least bit. Didn't mean that I believed it to be true in any way, shape, or form. My positive qualities didn't define my self-worth, and they rarely aided in my beliefs about myself or my self-esteem. They were simply relative truths for me. What I really wish she would have asked me in this moment was, what is your self-worth attached to? Or even, how do you feel about yourself? Because these questions at the time would have completely stumped me and would have early on opened the door for some deep inner work that ultimately shaped my entire life and got me back to feeling like I was worthy, to believing in myself, to having the confidence to move ahead. My positive qualities, just as yours, do not define who I am. It's nice to recall on them, and they're good to keep in your back pocket for a resume or for low times. But ultimately, being able to know these positive things about myself or yourself does us no good, because these positive qualities aren't necessarily correlated to your self-worth at the time. So let's talk about 4 areas of our self-worth that we need to rebuild from the inside out. Number 1, understanding your attachments themselves to self-worth. Number 2, navigating your inner dialogue. Number 3, taking courageous action. And number 4, embracing your spiritual essence. So number 1, it is most important to define what areas we attach ourselves with. What matters when defining self-worth isn't what we're good at or what we feel about ourselves, but what we are deeply connected to, what we are passionately built off of and believe about ourselves, what we desire to be. So in other words, our self-worth isn't based off of the attachments we hold dear. Our self-worth is based off of the attachments we hold dear, but not often the result of these attachments. So some of the questions that we can ask ourselves is our self-worth attached to the way we look in the mirror? Is our self-worth attached to how much time we spend with our children? Is it attached to how well that we take care of the budget or how much money is in the bank account? What qualities in your life are really valuable and worthy to you? For me, a huge portion of my self-worth is based off of how I am as a mother. That was a positive quality that was attached to my core. Being pretty isn't attached to my core. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't make me feel good about myself. So we have to differentiate inside what is really truly important to us and what makes us feel the best. For some of us, it's money, and that's not something to be shamed about, but it is something to be aware of. For some of us, it's our intellect and our intelligence. Again, it's not something to be ashamed of, but it's something to be aware of. We cannot build our self-worth if we don't know what areas we have to build in first. So, number 2, it's most important that you navigate your inner dialogue. We all have an inner mean girl or mean guy, meaning we all talk shit to ourselves on a regular basis. We're all talking down to ourselves. And whether it's the sigh that we give ourselves when we look in the mirror when the pants are too tight, or the frustration that we feel when a project fails, or the second guessing that we do when it comes to posting and sharing our soul-filled work, we all speak to ourselves in a negative fashion. In fact, we have been so conditioned almost to feel bad about who we are and about the things that we're doing, and to take all of these crises in life and all of these minor failures and really feel bad about them. We've been so conditioned to be perfect and to set up as perfect. And so when we are not, when we present ourselves as normal human beings, we feel like shit and we talk down to ourselves. We talk shit to ourselves. We have spent a lifetime cultivating an unsupportive and abusive relationship with ourselves in our own mind. And that is sad, and that has to stop. This takes hold and creates a deep negative outlook on the way that we feel about ourselves. If we want to rebuild our self-worth and really begin to see a difference in the way we feel about ourselves, we have to stop talking shit to ourselves. We have to stop looking down on ourselves. We have to create a relationship with ourselves that is based on support and love, not unsupport and abuse. Number 3, it is most important that we take the courageous action steps. Most of us know that our self-worth is lacking, but few of us do something about it. And I know that to be true because we'll talk to the same person year after year and see the same issues. We'll see them still stuck in self-esteem. We'll see them still hiding behind the mirror. We'll see them still dealing with confidence issues. We'll see all the same patterns in their life, even though they'll openly tell you, I don't have any self-esteem. They're not actively doing anything about it. It takes action to pull yourself from low self-worth to high self-worth. This means you have to stop that inner dialogue and take forcible action in the other direction. Where you say you aren't good enough, tell yourself you are good enough. When you say you're fat, tell yourself, no, I'm not, I'm beautiful. In every single way that inner dialogue has begun to control you, begin to fight back, begin to push back. Say it out loud, say it in your head, and say it again and again. Start to take courageous action against your own defeating relationship with yourself. And this also means doing the really hard things. It means dressing the way that you really want to and you feel really led to, even though that you're super scared. It means posting that thing when you feel led, even though you're super scared. And it means taking that class on self-esteem, even though you don't have the time. It means action above all else. When you start doing this, you start standing true to yourself, and you naturally begin to cultivate an amazing relationship with yourself. It is incredible. Even if your actions aren't accepted by the world, you feel good because you're standing in them. And that builds your self-worth. So you have to take action. You have to do those hard things because they're part of you. Number 4, it's most important that we understand the pure spiritual divinity that is within us. Light, bliss, beauty, pureness, essence, that is what is inside of every last one of us. And we need to start getting really familiar with being deeply within and connected to this essence. This is a spiritual journey, and not spiritual because there's a God and He controls everything, but spiritual because our life, our worth is about pure connection to the divine nature. So begin to explore this relationship. Begin to explore the relationship with your dreams and your desires. Those crazy out-of-the-world things that you want to do are blessed and full of light and full of your natural spiritual sense. So explore them. Dive into them. Get to know the goddess version of yourself. Get familiar with how powerful you really are. Heal the shit that's blocking you from accessing this ultimate being and fall in love with every aspect of it. You have to work on your self-worth. There isn't a magic potion that's going to make you feel better. You have to actively seek out these things in your life. You have to actively shut down your inner mean girl. You have to actively take the courageous steps. You have to actively explore this relationship. You have to actively figure out what worth is to you. And if you take these action steps and you align your life with discovering your worth, and you align your life with living in your worth, you will begin to feel your worth. It will come true to you, but you have to move. You gotta get up. You gotta do it. You gotta put the work into it. And you gotta be patient and allow the miracle to come onto you and fill you up. That's all I got for this session, guys.